Well, howdy. What you're looking at right now is a whole mess of pistols. Well, I was in my yearly gun cleaning binge and was thinking about, well, as any longtime viewer or subscriber to my channel knows, I'm into weird, obscure, bizarre guns. What I'm attracted to is what I call the gadget factor. The various systems of lockwork, of actions, of various mechanical contrivances that mankind has come up with for the simple function over the years. And the automatic pistol dates from about the year 1895-ish or so to, to today. And they've tried everything from finger locking systems before they came up with automatic systems to the newest polymers and even ceramics at times. There's a gun called the Troika that was developed for the KGB in Russia. Basically, it was an assassin's weapon, and it was made completely of plastic and ceramics to avoid airport metal detectors, and had a self-contained cartridge, thereby making it completely silent. It was used for assassinations. Well, anyway, this isn't any of those. What these all represent is various lockworks, but every single one of these is in an obsolete and almost impossible to find caliber. They all look like modern pistols in one way or another, but they're not. Starting on your left, I think that's your left, isn't it? Yeah, that would be your left. That is an Astra Model 400. It's a 9mm Bergmann Bayard. Bergmann Bayard is a version of 9mm by 23mm. The current 9mm Parabellum is 9 by 19. This is a little bit bigger. The pistol is actually a blowback. It's a bear to shoot. This was the standard Spanish military pistol up until, well, I don't know, about the 1950s, I guess. And it's just an example of that particular genre. This is from 1923, as I recall looking it up in the book. This one is a Pattern 14 Nambu, or Year 14. Year 14 of the Meiji Restoration, which is the what happened after they kicked out all the samurai and what's the warlord over there called? The shogun, and went back to emperor worship. Basically, oligarchs ruled the country and had the emperor as a figurehead to do that. This is chambered in 8mm Nambu. It was developed by a general named, of all things, Nambu. And he developed an interesting pistol, but it's not like any other European designs. It's very Japanese. It's also very fragile. It's not very good. It shoots a 8mm cartridge that's about comparable to a .32 auto from a locked breech, and just doesn't really work. It's a bottleneck cartridge on top of that. Interestingly enough, the Nambu cartridge, enough of these showed up with GIs as war trophies that they wanted to shoot and couldn't, that a guy named Larry Potterfield decided that he would machine up some 8mm Nambu reloading dies, because he figured out a way of I don't remember which cartridge he used for the parent cartridge, but he figured out a way of making them, and started selling those reloading dies. He turned that into a company that became known as Midway. They no longer sell 8mm Nambu reloading dies, but that was how he got started. A little obscure track on the side there. Okay, going on. This is a 1935A. There's also the 1935S. I have both. French. This was the French service pistol in the early part of the mid part of the 20th century, from about World War I on, 1935 on. The reason is, in World War I, they were mainly using the 1892 service revolver and various Ruby pistols and .32 auto that they got from Spain. That was a supply and and logistics nightmare. Let's put it that way. It was terrible. So they decided to heck with this and went to this thing. This was the only pistol, this and its sister, the 1935 AS, excuse me. Let me say, hold on a second here. What happened was that this one won the challenge. This was the runner-up, but they ran out of these, so they made this. This is an S. This is an A. Anyway, it's a little longer than .32 Auto. The cartridge it uses is exactly the same diameter, same dimensions as the 30 caliber cartridge that we used in the 30 Peterson device of World War I, which was never used. They were gearing up for what they called the 1919 Spring Offensive, when in 1918 Germany sued for an armistice, and that changed the rules completely. So the Peterson device, which was basically an add-on to replace the bolt in a 1903 Springfield, to change it from a bolt-operated single-shot rifle into a submachine gun, with a 30-round submachine gun with a sideways mounted magazine. If interested, there is a video on a channel called C&Rsenal that discusses the 30 Peterson. They found one, I don't know where, and a gunsmith from Savannah, I think. Is he from Savannah? I don't know. Or is he from Charleston? Mark Novak got it working again. St. Mark. Mark is a genius. Anyway, Othias and May run it through its paces and decided it was an awful idea, and America would have really lost a lot of guys with walking fire from that weapon. Excuse me. Anyway, moving on. This is a 1912 Steyr Hahn. Steyr Hahn means Steyr with hand, meaning, or hammer. And this was the army pistol of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. Talk about a logistics nightmare. This is their cavalry pistol, a 1907 Rothsteyr. What's the difference? This is chambered in 9x23 Steyr. Not Largo, Steyr. These are not the same cartridge. The slope on the cartridge case is slightly different on the two, to the point where on a sloppy Steyr, you might be able to fit a Largo. Largos are sloppy enough that they'll shoot Steyr, but most Steyrs will not touch Largo. Largo, by the way, is Spanish for large, meaning it's not 9x19. It was based on the 9mm Bergmann Bayard, of all things. This one is a proprietary 8mm cartridge used by no other pistol ever in history, and never again. The only way to make it for years was to take 32 Smith & Wesson long, trim off the rim on the edge, and then cut a new extractor groove, and then load it up. You needed a lathe, you needed patience, you needed a small needle file, and you needed to know German curses to make the thing work. It worked, but then a company, Steinells, started actually loading it. I bought a few boxes of it, and I've enjoyed shooting this ever since. But Steinells ran out. Their run of that ran out, so good luck. Oh, they also made this, and their run ran out. This one, I know why it ran out. Ian McCollum, that's why it ran out. He has a submachine gun that's chambered in this. Grumble, grumble. Anyway, weird calibers. Each one uses a proprietary, totally different locking system. This one you may recognize. If you ever saw a Swiss P210, this is the grandfather of the P210. And it has a very robust, very good locking system. But it's also in a cartridge that is just almost impossible to find unless you happen to have some Steinells, which I happen to have some Steinells. Anyway, I just thought you might be interested. Oh, by the way, my channel has just about reached 500 subscribers. Thank you very much. I do appreciate it. I don't know if I'll do anything when I hit 500 or not, but I just thought I would mention that. It's just to me, it's kind of surprising. Ever since a guy named Garrett on 11 Bang Bang called out my channel as worth seeing, suddenly a bunch of folks showed up. I don't understand that, but I know Garrett's people are, he and Ethan and Caleb have really done some wonderful things with older guns, black powder mainly. But I think they might find some of my stuff even interesting. Anyway, just a discussion of these. I have done videos about each of these in turn. You can look back and look at those, but I just thought I'd show them all as a presentation of weird and obscure and obsolete calibers.